So hello everyone and welcome to Mediterranean Diet. Just one quick thing before we begin, please keep your questions until the end of the presentation. You can ask your questions in the chat box found at the bottom of your Zoom screen, and I'm going to read them aloud to Lynette at the end of the presentation. Our speaker tonight is ShopRite dietitian Lynette Hem-Lee. Tonight she will be teaching us about the Mediterranean diet, its importance, and how to substitute ingredients to fit your culture. So without further ado, I'll turn things over to Lynette.
All right, thank you so much. Hi, everyone, and good evening. It's evening, right? Yes, and thank you for joining me today. So it's Mediterranean Diet Awareness Month, and that is why I decided to focus on this today. And you can look up the Mediterranean diet in whichever culture you celebrate, or your cultural food preference. And if you do have a question at the end of this and you want to know how you can make substitutions, feel free to ask me, okay? But the Mediterranean diet has been studied over and over. Lots of studies have gone into this, and it's the gold standard for heart health and even cognitive decline and so many things. It's such a great diet, a great way of eating. It's a simple way of eating. Okay, so I will get started with this. So today, why am I getting block here? All right. So today's discussion will focus on what is the Mediterranean way of eating and living, what are the health benefits, and 10 practical ways to try the Mediterranean style of eating. All about me, my name is Lynette Hem-Lee, and I'm a registered dietitian. I work at ShopRite. I have been there for the past 8.5 years. I was at ShopRite in Jersey City, and I just relocated to ShopRite in New Milford. I went to Montclair State University. I did my undergrad there in food and nutrition sciences with a concentration in dietetics. I also did my dietetic internship, which is 1,200 hours there. And then I did my RD exam, passed my RD exam, and now I'm a registered dietitian. So the history of the Mediterranean way. It was first identified in 1950s by Ansel Keys. And he studied the 7 countries, and you may have heard of the Blue Zone. So those are the countries he studied. Ansel Keys is considered the father of nutrition. Okay, it's dietary patterns found in olive-growing areas of the Mediterranean. It has been proven to lower death rate, higher life expectancy, and attributed to dietary factors, including fat choice. No one singular way of eating. So it's just such a great way of eating because you can adopt it in so many different diets. The Mediterranean diet principles are more monounsaturated fat and less saturated fat, and we talk about all those. Moderate alcohol, high fruit, vegetable, and legume consumption, high whole grain consumption, moderate dairy and egg consumption, low meat and sweet consumption, and daily exercise and enjoying meals together. So we talk about the monounsaturated fats, and those are the heart healthy fats. And olive oil, this diet was designed in the Mediterranean countries that grow olive oil, or that has olive groves. So the olive oil is like a major factor in this diet. And 50% of the fat intake come from olive oil. Their salads and cooking, they use it in everything. It is a monounsaturated fat, and it's cancer fighting. So it prevents, those cancer cells from replicating, put it that way. They have bioactive polyphenols with anti-inflammatory properties. Extra virgin olive oil contains polyphenols, tocopherols, and phytoesterols, which are refined, and they're really good in the diet. And how much is recommended? Approximately 2 to 4 tablespoons per day. And I'll show you what a tablespoon is. Limit 35% daily calories. So basically, this is a tablespoon. It's small, it's not a lot, right? So, yeah, I think that's it. So it's really a small amount you should be using. Even in your cooking, you should not go beyond 2 tablespoons. 1 tablespoon is 120 calories. So if you pour all the oils there, you can take a good thing and make it a bad thing.
Lynette, sorry to interrupt. I'm getting some reports that the audio is a bit choppy. I've done what I can from my end to try and stabilize it, but if you could speak up a little bit so that they can hear you a little bit better.
Okay. So I hope this is better. I brought it closer to me. The Mediterranean diet promotes heart healthy fats, and these heart healthy fats are found in nuts and seeds, and they contain like omega-3s. They lower triglyceride levels, they moderate blood pressure, and they decrease the clot risk. They're anti-inflammatory, and how much? Either 1/4 cup or 2 tablespoons nut butter. So I'll show you, this is 1/4 cup. So if you have a nuts or seeds or pistachios, you just want to use a 1/4 cup, okay? Not a lot. The Mediterranean diet, a big part of the Mediterranean diet is the consumption of fruits and vegetables. And they are high in cardioprotective elements, antioxidant, vitamins, and minerals. They contain a lot of fiber, and we promote a lot of fiber. We promote high fiber in everything, whether it's a Mediterranean diet or just a healthier way of eating, because it's associated with a significant reduction in cardiovascular disease and stroke. We recommend that you eat seasonal, like during the summer months. You support farmers market because the flavors are nice and fresh. And how much at every meal? So this is your plate, a 9-inch plate, and we recommend that you eat half of this plate in fruits, lots of non-starchy vegetables and fruits. So half your plate or 20 to 30 grams a day of fiber, which is a lot. So you have to start like in the morning, like breakfast. You should try to get at least 10 grams of fiber at breakfast time, so that throughout the day you can just add to it. And fiber is really important for digestive health. And fiber and water, they go together. So I refer to fiber as a broom and water as a mop. Because if you eat too much fiber and you do not have enough water in your system, you can end up being constipated. So you really want to soften your stool, drink that water, and have enough fiber in there to help. The fiber grabs the bad cholesterol, it lowers blood sugar. So it's really a great, it's just so important in so many things. You also get a lot of fiber from beans and legumes. And what are those? You have all your red beans, lentils, chickpeas, but your legumes are your lentils, anything that grows on vines. So your lentils, your dal, green lentils, red lentils, all of those are legumes. They're really high in fiber, vitamins, and minerals. They have a prebiotic effect. And what is a prebiotic? Prebiotic is what feeds the probiotic. It's a fiber, but the probiotic, which is the bacteria in your stomach, the live bacteria, you have to feed them in order for them to take care of you. And what do you feed them with? Prebiotic, because when you give them these prebiotic, this fiber, you take care of them, they take care of you, and we end up with a nice synergistic, overall healthy system. When you're using canned or dry beans, try to use no added salt. And how much? At least 3 servings or half a cup per week. Grains and cereals, your pasta, it's also a major part of your Mediterranean diet. They eat a lot of pasta, we eat a lot of rice. It's fine, they all fall within that category, 1/4 of your plate. So this 1/4 here will be your cereals, your grains. And it's rich in iron, fiber, and B vitamins. So we recommend your brown rice because it has fiber or B vitamins. You could do it half and half. You could do half white, half brown. It promotes satiety. It helps control blood sugars. It helps with your digestive system and helps you be regular. It improves your cholesterol. And combined with legumes for complete protein. So if you eat rice and lentil, that's like a complete meal. And how much? At least half your grains should be whole grain. And your first ingredients when you're buying anything, like your nutrition fats, flavor, the first ingredient should always be whole. You know it's a whole grain. Fish and seafood makes up a major part of the Mediterranean diet. And the reason being fish was cheap there, you know, it's such a, getting the other meats was so expensive, they focus a lot on fish. And fish has such great heart healthy benefits, right? It's rich in omega-3 essential fatty acid, the DHA and EPA, and it's low in saturated fat. It's a great source of vitamin D, and it's associated with decreased CVD. And how much do you need? We recommend eating fish at least 2 times a week. And it doesn't have to be fresh fish. You can buy canned tuna, canned salmon, sardines. They are all such great options. So salmon, tuna, herring, sardines, they are great options to include with your seafood. It's your seafood there. Dairy, eggs, and poultry, they are a great source of calcium, protein, and vitamin D, but can be rich in saturated fat. So you want to consume this moderately. Commonly consume dairy, your feta cheese, your ricotta cheese, your yogurt, and how much daily to weekly. So 1 yolk per day. So if you have an egg, you can have 1 per day or 0 to 4 per week. Meats and sweets. These were more expensive and harder to access, which I said earlier. You want to limit these two because they're not really healthy, heart healthy. They're fun food. They're the food, you know, you want to eat, your comfort food. But we don't want to eat these things every day because they can have, you know, that saturated fat can build up and could affect our heart health. So high saturated trans fat increases your bad cholesterol. You want to use leaner cuts of beef or meats like ground, shoulder, tenderloin, strip, or flank steak. Avoid things like sausages, bacon, fried foods, and processed sweets. Try to use fruit as a dessert, like pears. You can bake pears and put a little bit of ice cream. Have a scoop of ice cream with it. It's really delicious. And really watch the fatty meats. Alcohol, although they have cardioprotective factors and they lower blood pressure by increasing nitric oxide in but those are in large quantities, and it's but mostly red wines. They complement your diet, but you want to be careful. So women, you can have 1 drink a day and men 2 drinks. You exceed that, it could have maybe detrimental effect on your overall health. So the Mediterranean diet looks at the pyramid. And if you look at the base of the pyramid, you see families, the kids playing. They focus a lot on family and bonding and being together, that community. So whether you live alone or whether you live with a big family or whether you live in a building or you have neighbors, you know, it's important to try and have that network, that social life, that community. And you can have it in your church, you can have it with your family, you live in a building, try to share a meal with your neighbor or get together in the courtyard. You know, those things are healthy, even sitting and chatting and, you know, basic things. That's really healthy. It's good mental health therapy. And if you look at the second largest, you'll see fruits, vegetables, grain, olive oil, beans, nuts, legumes, seeds, herbs and spices. That's a major part of their diet. Then we get to the seafood, and you would see the poultry, eggs, cheese, and yogurt, they get smaller, and meats and sweets, they are very small. They recommend, and we recommend, you drink a lot of water. Water is it has no calories, it's really healthy for you. It transports nutrients, it helps you, you know, your energy levels increases. So if you could drink more water rather than sodas, it's a healthier way. You can have planned physical activity, or you can do things like working in your garden, walking, like if you go to the supermarket, you can park further away and walk. You could go for evening walks, take the stairs in your house. I recommend this to my clients all the time. After you have a heavy meal, take a 10-15 minutes walk around the block, in your house, in your yard. If it's raining, do it in your house, walk up and down. So you help promote digestion and you help keep blood sugars down. And planned activities are running, weightlifting, yoga, swimming, dancing. You know, you don't have to go and join a gym and pay all this money. You could just do things, you know, make every day or every movement, your activities of daily living, make it is a part of your exercise routine. And a lot of people going out in their yard now. I hope this is the end of that terrible weather. You can go out and do some yard work, do some gardening, plant some vegetables. You know, it's a nice way of getting that exercise in. And enjoyment of food, again, when I talk about that, savoring meals slowly, sitting down to a meal, eating in the company of others. Those are really, really nice way to enjoy your meals, you socialize, you chat, you talk, you know, instead of sitting down in front of your television. And what are the benefits of the Mediterranean way? So these are, look at all the great benefits here. It helps with weight management. It helps prevent prevent the onset of certain cancers. It helps with heart disease. It helps with type 2 diabetes. It helps with cardiovascular events, Parkinson's disease. I have a handout right on my desk here, the Mediterranean diet and the DASH diet, and they're all similar. They can help with the mind. They call it the mind diet. It helps with Alzheimer's, metabolic syndrome, and metabolic syndrome is when you have like diabetes, heart disease, and high blood pressure all in one. You end up with metabolic syndrome or even overall mortality. It's really a nice, healthier way of eating. And lots of studies was done on the Mediterranean diet and heart health. And what they found, it reduces total cholesterol, triglycerides, and blood pressure. It increases in good cholesterol. So your good cholesterol increases and it decreases your bad cholesterol. It's also associated with improved cognitive function. A Mediterranean breakfast affects energy intake and appetite-related feelings, meaning that when you eat a good, healthy breakfast in the morning, you know, you have that energy, you don't feel hungry, you have that feeling of fullness. And it also enhances your mood and cognition. So what is the blue zone? This is where the Mediterranean diet was studied mostly. And the blue zones, so we have in Greece, they look at mindless movement, they look at the Mediterranean diet, they focus a lot on herbal teas, they get their naps, they get their fast occasionally. Their priority is family and friends. They drink more goat milk instead of cow's milk. In California, out in Loma Linda, they have their 24-hour Sabbath. They do a lot of regular low-intensity exercise. They have their social support. They eat a lot of nuts. They volunteer. They basically follow a vegetarian diet. They have an early dinner and they drink a lot of water. In Italy, it's more plant-based diet, little red meat, family first. They celebrate their elders. They walk at least 5 miles a day. They drink, of course, they drink their red wine. They laugh a lot. They drink a lot of goat milk. Okay, what's going on here? In Japan, they eat a plant-based diet. They eat a lot of soy foods, they get a lot of sun exposure, they're very active. They use their garden for medicine, a lot of herbs. They have a very, their attitude to life is like very relaxed and they go after, they don't let things overwhelm them. And in Costa Rica, Plan de Vida, they drink hard water, which has calcium in it, they focus on family. They get an early evening light dinner. They use a lot of squash, corn, and beans. They have a great social network. They have a lot of physical activity and they get sensible sun. So what are the 10 ways to embrace the Mediterranean way? So eat more plant food every day, lots of vegetables. Remember, I show you this plate, half your plate, a lot of non-starchy vegetables. Eat what you like, eat what you're accustomed to. Make vegetables half of your plate. Go for whole grains over half of the time. Cook meat less with legumes. If drinking alcohol, do so in moderation and with meals. Embrace healthy fats with nuts, seeds, and olive oil. Move your body often. 10 minutes here and there adds up. So 10 minutes after lunch, 10 minutes after dinner, even 10 minutes after breakfast, you get that walk in, whether it's in your office, whether it's in your home, whether it's planned, you just get that 10 minutes to get that blood sugar down, to get digestion taking place. Eat fatty fish at least twice per week. Limit red meat and high-fat proteins in favor of lean proteins like poultry. And slow down and enjoy meals with others. So your takeaway from today should be the Mediterranean way is more than just a diet, but rather a lifestyle. There's a lot of benefits for chronic diseases, risk management, especially heart health. Focus on plans and intentional about your protein choices. Embrace healthy fats. Socialize, have a meal with friends and family, and have that community, have that network. And basically that's it. And thank you, short and sweet. I will open it up for questions.
All right, thank you, Lynette. Just a reminder to everyone, you can put your questions in the chat box, which is at the bottom of your Zoom screen, and I'll read them out loud to Lynette. So the first question that I already have in the chat box
was the audio.
Can you hear me, Lynette?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay. The first question is, can you go over what a prebiotic is again? How is it different from a probiotic?
Okay, so probiotic is the bacteria. So you hear E. coli and Salmonella. Those things live in our stomach. Those are probiotic. They are live bacteria. And believe it or not, we need them. We were born with those. The prebiotic are the fiber that we feed them. We have to feed them. If they are not fed, and that's why you get high fiber food, they tend to manipulate you. And there are a lot of studies that's out there that states that your probiotic, if they are not fed the right food, which is the fiber again, and the fiber you get them like from the, like from, your beans, any kind of high fiber food, that's what they feed on. And, and when they're fed, those probiotic takes care of you. So you don't have to go out there and take, when you take the probiotic tablets, like over the counter, that's what you're getting, right? They're packaged. But we were born with those. So we have to keep them there. When you take antibiotics, they tend to wipe out some of them. It's like a colony. We have a colony inside of us, and we have to take care of that colony.
Perfect. Thank you so much. The second question that I have in the chat, what are some quick recipes you can recommend if you don't have much time to cook?
Like let's say the Mediterranean diet, you want to eat that way, and I want you to eat a lot of legumes. You have low sodium lentils in the can already cooked. And these are things I do. I will open those. I may chop up some olives and add to it, or I may get the chopped one. Or red peppers, you add that to it. You can have some brown rice and you can have some vegetables. You can, if you don't have time and you have the resources, you can buy brown rice already cooked, but brown rice is not hard to cook. If you have a rice cooker, $20 for them, and you can make your brown rice. You could cook an entire package and keep it in your refrigerator. Freeze half in your fridge. So that's easy, right? And all you have to do is focus on your vegetables. And if you don't have time, you could buy vegetables already chopped. And those, or you could buy the frozen ones that you could just microwave. Now, if you don't want lentils, you could also do things like tuna, canned salmon. Those are easy. You just add lettuce. You just add tomatoes and onions. You flavor it to your liking, and those are easy meals. You can even use rotisserie chicken. It's another easy protein.
Perfect. Thank you very much. The final question that I currently have in the chat box, how important is food and diet versus exercise and socialization in blue zones?
Okay, so food is important. Food is important anyway. Food is 80%, but diet, so it's a really diet, it's a way of life, right? You eat healthy, but it's also important that you socialize and you exercise. So they all come together. They're all important. Of course, you have to feed your body. Food is energy, and you want to make sure you get the right source of
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Lynette. It doesn't look like I have any more questions currently in the chat box, but I'm going to give it just one more minute more just to make sure that there's not any last minute questions that come in.
Sounds good to me. Oh, we have 10 participants today. That's amazing.
Yes, we got a really good group of people who came.
Yeah, ask me any questions you guys have. It's fine. And you don't have to type it. If you want to open up your mic and ask me a question, go right ahead.
And just as a reminder to everyone as well, Lynette is a ShopRite dietitian, so you can always get in touch with her. Lynette, if you go back one slide to get your contact information back up on the screen.
Right there. And that's my phone number also.
Perfect, thank you. Here's one more question in the chat. How can I substitute ingredients to fit a Latin culture diet?
Okay, so you eat rice, you eat beans. That's perfect. What's your vegetable that you eat? Whether it's broccoli, what's a vegetable most common in Latin culture? It all depends where you're from. And then avocado, if you don't like olive oil, avocado is a healthy fat. You could use that in your diet. You could use like jalapeno peppers, those are nice and tasty. What other vegetable? Your lettuce, your tomatoes, lots of those are in a Latin diet. Can you help me? What other vegetables do you have in your diet?
Right, and if there's a particular diet or food that they're looking for, I'm sure they can get in contact with you via email as well to get.
And I can send that to you also. I can email that to you. I have easier ways. But as I said, whatever vegetable you like, you add that. Whatever fruits you like, you have that. You know, it doesn't have to be all Mediterranean. But I think each culture, a lot of Latin diets, we do have seafood. So you can substitute however you like to do your seafood. My only advice is the frying, unless you use an air fryer, because the frying, when it creates that saturated fat, and that is not very heart healthy. So you really want to watch that. I prefer if you grill, bake, or if you do have an air fryer, you could use your air fryer. Yeah, and I don't want you to look at it as a diet. I want you to look at it as a healthier way of eating.
As a lifestyle change.
Yeah. And if you guys need any information, I can surely share it with you.
All right, so if that's the end of the questions, oh wait, one more question in the chat box. How can I more easily get into this lifestyle?
Okay, so balancing your plate. Eating more fruits and vegetables, lean proteins, whole grains, whichever one you like, drinking lots of water, getting movement, daily movements, and socializing. Having that social life, whether it's with your friend, your family, sharing a meal with somebody, whether it's on work, it's just such an easy way of doing it.
Thank you. So I'd like to say a big thank you to everyone who came out tonight to come and watch this very educational presentation. And Lynette, I'd like to extend a big thank you to you as well. Thank you so much for coming out this evening, donating your time to spend the evening with us and giving us this presentation.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you guys for coming out.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.